Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 259 of Kouryer podcast. Our today's guest is Mr. Quentin Godillon. He's an environment artist from Annemasse, France. And in the for contact section of the captions, you can find the links to his art station and LinkedIn in case you wanted to check out his works or just shoot him a message or ask a question. And of course, without going into the questions, I need to quickly mention that I have some good news for anyone who's listening to this podcast or anyone who's a fan of this podcast. Right now, it's 9:16 p.m. Istanbul time, 28th of February, 2024. And on 14th of March, it will be the 4th anniversary of the podcast, which for that, I planned some special episodes, which I re-invited some of the older previous guests of the podcast. So those are going to be really interesting to watch. And also, I have invited a lot of people to the podcast again. So be prepared for very fruitful winter 2024 in terms of podcast. Because in the later half or in the next couple of months, the frequency of the uploads might go very low because I'm in the process of moving it out. So with that being said, I just thought before I started with the questions, I gave everyone a little update. But that out of the way, let's begin. How are we doing today?
Hi, happy to be here.
Also, fun fact, thanks so much for answering so fast on ArtStation. People don't usually reply back to me when I message them on ArtStation for podcasts or just in general, but you actually replied Actually, I wanted to skip you because there was no information of how to contact, because some artists actually do that because they don't want to be contacted. And I thought, wait, maybe this is one of them. But, I thought, whatever, I'm just going to give it a try. And we're here now. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. And because of that, a lot of people contact me on via ArtStations directly. So, yeah, I keep everything centralized in ArtStations. it's but I will add more information on my profile.
Yeah, your email address should definitely be there, man. But yeah, because most people usually do that, but yeah, a lot of people don't want their addresses even to be there. There are some artists who don't want any trace of them, any form of contact for them, which is kind of weird to me. I mean, I can see why, but yeah, and yeah, actually, just another fun fact I need to mention is I actually found your stuff through LinkedIn. I think I think it was yourself or someone posted your latest work, which is the Fishing Harbor. And for anyone who's watching it on YouTube, you can watch it above us. The reel of the video of Fishing Harbor is probably among the things I put it in the reel above us. But yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that. But before we get into those stuff, first start off with the first subject. Give us a little introduction on how we got into the world of visual arts and design. Basically tell us your origin story, how you became an artist.
So for the story, I'm 34 years old, and I'm a graphic designer. I'm still a graphic designer. I'm aspiring to be an environment artist to find a job in the industry. But my artist journey began 12 years old. Yeah, even 20 years old. When I was at school. I was in an art school in France, just studying graphic design. I did a little bit of 3D, but it was maybe 2 hours a week, nothing really serious. And so, yeah, I just worked with it, went to school, got my degree, find a job as a graphic artist in France, and then moved from job to job. And after a few years, I guess I did everything I'd like to do as a graphic designer. And yeah, I just downloaded Blender one day. So yeah, for the context, back in the days when I learned a bit of 3D, it was on Lightwave 7. I don't know if you know this software. I think it doesn't exist anymore, I think. It was a good software at the time. I think Shrek 1 was done on this one. Maybe, that's a big maybe. And I learned Photoshop on Photoshop 7 It was a very very old version, and back in the day, 3D, there wasn't any PBR, no nothing. It was a bit rough to learn to master the tool, and I was 15 years old, so I didn't really knew a lot how to learn, how to improve my skill. And so also I was just 15 years old, so I wasn't really thinking about going of becoming a game dev. I was just playing with the tool, and but not in a really proficient way, I guess. And so yeah, got my degree, became the graphic designer. I've worked in France for a few years, and now I'm working in Switzerland, and for the past 9 years. And yeah, it's been really great. And it's almost 2 years ago, 1 year and a half, I have tried to open Blender. Someone talked to me about it, that it was an easy software to learn 3D model. And yeah, I just begin to learn Blender. I just keep doing it. So at first it was really a hobby. I was just coming after work, learning, doing a few things. My first project was to do an Overwatch map, and the whole map it was really really bad. But I have learned a lot about everything, PBR, texture. I didn't knew UV at the time, but yeah, I just loved it. To create things, to be able to play. Also, back in the day, Unity and Unreal Engine wasn't there, so it's not like doing a video game is really possible for random people. But now you just open your, it's free, put some map, you have the third person blueprint already there, and you can just play the map. It's it's, it's really awesome. You can create environment really fast, and so yeah, I really loved it, and I stick to it for a year and a half, and now for only 3-4 months now, I have decided that's okay. That's what I will do next. That's my next career, and I doing everything I can to make it. So in the war zone that is the industry right now. So yeah, we'll see.
Awesome, man. So that's quite a backstory actually from graphic design to environment art. And I have to say, like, you'll definitely you don't have to worry about getting the job, or breaking the industry. You're already there, man. And like your portfolio is pretty good. Like I don't know what else to say. Like,
Thanks.
is this supposed to be a junior like, portfolio, like,
Yeah.
or just a portfolio? Well, it's perfect, honestly. Like, it's like quality is really high, especially your last couple of posts.
The
Like, even
the state of competition of the industry right now is crazy.
yeah,
It's like you have to be you have to appear like a senior, but you will take a junior income. It's crazy.
I mean that's with most jobs, but I
Yeah.
have to say something. Yeah, sure, the competition is pretty crazy, but usually how in the past couple of years, especially not years, maybe even decade. I'm not an industry expert, by the way, by any means necessary. I'm junior as well. I'm trying to become a 3D environment artist as well. But so
And
I'm saying this beforehand, just so you know, my opinion is not an expert opinion or by any means necessary. But I think right now the niche, kind of the meta of the industry, is to become very niche and super good at the niche thing.
mm,
For example, everyone can make an environment, make some tile sets, learn the basics of all the softwares that's required, make some, a little bit of thing in Esprit 3, in Marvelous Designer, like, in all of this, fancy, like different, programs. But if you can be really good at one thing, Like, be super good at cloth, be
Yeah.
super good at foliage, be super good at shaders, be super good at, I don't know, like just optimization even.
Yeah.
Like if you can just make it very simple environment, but you show how you optimize it and, made it from like this many polygons and this many, like, space, like, just all this stuff, like, anything. If you can be super good at one niche thing, you can really stand out. And maybe at the same time, some studio who's trying to hire environment artists, at the same time, they have a problem in their internal team with an issue with their engine in their development that requires a skill that you have that you wouldn't even know that they needed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. You need to be more specialized than past because also there is too much things to know. Nobody can know everything now. You can be a one-man army, and so yeah, I'm in the process of deleting things from my portfolio right now. I just want pure environment and storytelling. I will remove the textures, the props, I guess, at some point. Um, but yeah, I guess also, I think when you try to find a job, maybe at some point you're not selling as a brand, but you have to be readable. People have to understand what you do at first sight. If you have an environment, the props, textures, something. Just 1 month ago, I have something. It was a Lego CGI Lego done in Blender, and I loved it. But I realized that, yeah, but I just have to remove it. It looks good, I think, but it's not optimized. It has nothing related to gaming. It I just need to remove it. And
Man, but post it on Twitter or other socials if you have, like around LinkedIn or something. Don't just remove them.
mm,
Just have like a social media for your serious stuff, but have a social media for where you can basically post anything.
mm,
Because you have no idea. Maybe, for example, that Lego thing you made in Blender, I think is mentioned. Maybe it blows up suddenly and goes viral on Twitter. I don't know.
yeah,
Like I think you should make a social media for that as well, for just posting anything.
yeah. I'm not a big user of social media. LinkedIn is so yeah. The Arbor a phishing post on LinkedIn was my first post on LinkedIn. And it was quite crazy, in fact, because I was in my bed in the morning just posting it and went to work, and I had something like 500 likes in a few hours. It was really crazy. I mean, I have a really strong imposter syndrome right now. Um, the London Has Fallen also was a good environment, and I didn't really understood at first. I guess it was on the top a place on art stations. Um, I thought it was a bug at first. I didn't knew why it was that top. I had a lot of likes, so I didn't really understood at first. And so yeah, I guess I do something right. So I keep pushing towards environment. But yeah, you're right. Maybe I need to post more to to showcase my work a bit more on social.
Yeah, man. And how has the experience been like trying to become a 3D environment artist, and why out of like everything that's out there in like digital world, what led you to become a 3D environment artist? What? Oh, nice cat. What's the name behind you?
Yeah,
Just kidding, real.
yeah, yeah.
Hi.
He's a yeah.
Oh, bonjour. I think it's a French cat. It doesn't understand English.
If you talk back, you tell me, huh? Yeah.
Oh, all
Come
right.
on.
Oh,
So yeah, I went to environment art.
aggressive biting. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it was. I really like environment. I like to create environment, interactive uh, experience, I guess. The Last of Us was really a turning point for me in terms of environment, of storytelling, and the cinematic aspect of it. I like the big landscape, the cinematic shot, and you just at some point you just realize that you can play in what you have just drawn. So, and that's what I really like. I want the player and the people to be able to feel the environment where they are. Just adding a few noise, telling the storytelling by the weathering on the props, the number of props, the texture, everything, the lighting is so important. I have spent so many time on light, learning it, um, lighting and color grading. So yeah, I guess it's telling stories. And working in the film industry would be really awesome, I guess also. But in the gaming industry, at least you can play in the environment. It's you can see player do different things every time, and yeah, that's what ultimately that's what I want to do in studio. I guess with a team, with a big team, I want to build something bigger than me and than what I do right now. The environment I do on art stations, I really like it, but I want to do something really bigger, like the whole game, something consistent. Yeah.
All right, man. Awesome. And there's so many questions I want to ask you about like your whole process, like your whole art process. But the first thing I'm gonna go to, and the first thing I'm gonna ask you is this: how does the structure of your pipeline usually look like when it comes to creating environments? Like what major steps do you take in order to finish an environment? Like in what order?
Yeah. Mm. So yeah, first I try to get a good idea, but not much of an idea. I try to think of a mood, a place, just something I'd like to do. It sometimes it just begin with the light. I will saw the desert, for example, and I know that okay, I want to try that warm light. What can I do with it? What kind of environment I can think of? And so I will start just gathering references about mm, just the desert, for example, the structure, something, and then the blockout phase. So this one take me a lot of time. I take my time on it. I just it's all about compositions, I guess. I try to think what will be my final compositions for the shot and my light also. I try to get a sense of scale because I have thrown through the trash so much project because the base wasn't there. And the base for me, I guess, is the compositions and the lighting. If it's not there at the beginning, everything down the line will be bad um, because it will not make sense, I guess. For example, on my last project, the fishing harbor, um, I have gathered a lot of references, but the first step was to find just a mood, a place, and locations. I don't even know why I picked up a main. I think I was just looking at Google, in Google, just fishing harbor, and found something in Maine. I saw the red cabin, and so okay, yeah, I'd like that paint. I'd like the story I could tell with it. Also, get some water. I'd like to try to make something nice with a nice water shader. And then I did pretty rough blockout, but with colors, textures, very basic texture in Blender, not in engine. Did my first light pass, very rough also. And if at this point I can answer three questions, so what's the locations of my environment? What is the time period? And what is the context? And so if I have three good answers, I can proceed to a more advanced blackout and then try to, down the line, I go much in details. um, so yeah, I try to not get too much in detail first, because you can lose yourself very fast just trying to find the nice wood textures, but everything around it is still gray box, so it doesn't make sense. And there is good chance that you will change everything and the wood texture will have to go to the trash. So yeah, I guess that's my main workout. That's how I start a project. Yeah.
All right. And throughout this process, what a skill set of an environment art has been the most challenging for you to learn? Was it like modeling? Was it optimization? Was it getting the scale right? Because for me, that was really frustrating. Or was it just learning the tile sets, substance designer, which for me is actually one of the hardest things right now. That's the thing that I put, like, postponed more than anything. And I'm in the process of learning it finally.
Okay.
So, yeah, what has been the most challenging things for you, and what has been the most, fun for you?
Yeah. You said that it was the scale. So I'm in the Dynasty community, an awesome community to learn. And everything, when I ask a lot of feedback. And the main thing that usually come up is the scale. The scale is wrong and nobody knows why, even me. And yeah, I think it's hard in 3D because the scale is right, but the measurement, the scale is wrong, the measurement is right. So why the scale is wrong? And so I had to try to figure out that sometimes objects have to be a bit bigger or a smaller to appear right in a 2D environment. And I still struggle a bit. I rarely get the scale right at first. It's always a problem.
Yeah. And about the texturing part of it, like, basically, here's the thing. Like, you completely explained your pipeline, but there's something I want to know your opinion on as well. I'm kind of going through a course by Thiago Klavke, and
Yeah.
I got his course, last year. He was also on my podcast as well. Great course, great guy. But one thing he actually said and just keeps hammering on it in his talks and podcasts, which is actually is a very interesting point, is do all the logical parts of your environments in one go, and then do the rest, anything that is art related or creativity related, do them, like, in the end. Like, do all the like, no, not optimization. Optimization is stuff you usually do at the end, not that. Like, do all the modeling, just the getting the scale on, all that stuff, in the beginning, then do all the texturing, later. Or, there are some people who say, for example, they do environments piece by piece. Like, they do a pass, like, for each, bits or piece of an environment, for modeling and texturing and everything. But some people say they, just like Thiago said, like, do everything logical related to the environment in one go, in one pass, then do all the texture related, in the next pass, so basically your brain can, get on the creativity side much faster. What do you think about that?
That's funny because I took this tutorial also. Yeah, I think the only one that's serious. I mean, that long that I followed. It was an awesome one. I've learned a lot from the Thiago Flaque environment tutorial. And but I mean the first part I do just everything that he said. Planification, rough blockout, advanced blockout, and then I go a bit rogue after that. I start to work sometimes on my props, sometimes on my textures. I just keep it a bit more organic. Um, I I try to find the need and where I think I can improve. So I try to tackle the hardest part first. Yes, that's what I want to do first, because I know that if I can get this problem done, the troubleshooting will be done for the next 20 tasks after that. So yeah, sometimes when I'm back from work, I don't want to do some textures. I just want to model on the couch in front of the TV. So it's also depending on the mood I am, I guess. Um, but yet I'll keep it agile, I guess.
And who are some of your favorite artists and designers that have inspired you the most?
Oh, that's a hard question. Yeah, I never remember name. That's yeah, one that really impressed me lately, and I don't let me find his name. I think it was a Blizzard environment artist. Um, the Lara Croft Antique Shop. Maybe you know.
Martin Teichmann?
Yes, I think so.
He had an antique shop with a lot of plants and foliage,
Yeah,
right?
no, not this one.
Not this
Antique.
one, all right.
That's
Another antique shop.
yeah, related to the Tomb Raider Croft universe.
Ah,
The Croft Antique Shops by Ballas Domjean. I can link you.
yeah, actually, if you could send it to me later, that'd be awesome.
Yep.
And all right, so who else?
And it's so impressive because he did the environment and then he proceeded to do all the props. It's just crazy. So many props and very high detailed. It's just crazy. The amount of work is staggering. I don't know how many months he has spent on it, and it's kind of perfect because I think that this is the work that allowed him to find um, positions in the industry. With just one project, he nailed it. But because the project is so well done, he just don't need anything else in his portfolio. That's yeah, I was really impressed with that. Being able to showcase everything and to have the determinations, I guess, because yeah, we all work very hard to make it, and but having the determination to when you don't want to work, you still have uh, to make something to improve. That's really hard, I guess, to be honest with yourself, to not just doodling in Blender or Unreal and just playing with the tool, but to do what you really need to do to learn, to improve. Yeah, that's take motivations, but I guess discipline is more important. That's yeah, I really respect that. That's crazy what he done. And also
All right.
working at Blizzard is really awesome
Yeah,
also.
man, that's heavy. And speaking of work, what are you working on right now that you can tell us about? What kind of project is it? I mean, of course, if there's no NDA involved, but could you tell us a little bit of if there's any upcoming projects you're working on?
So no, right now I'm not. So I have just released my last project. I'm not working on everything, but I will begin the Beyond Extend challenge in the next week. The team will be announced in a few days. So this will be, yeah, the Beyond Extend will be my life for the 5 weeks to come. And after that, we'll see, I guess. I still don't really have a project in mind. I always have a lot of ideas, but nothing really precise. When I begin the new project, I'll try to find what kind of tool or technique I want to learn. I don't want to just redo something, just do an environment for the sake of doing it. I want to find something to tell and to find something to learn. It will keep the motivations and the discipline to just come back from work at night and walk.
All right. And now we talked so much about art by now, but now I want to ask you this. Aside from art, is there any other fields of interest that you would like to explore and learn in the future? It could be, maybe a goal that you might have, like maybe, I don't know, make a bit, open a business for yourself, or I don't know, go hike or travel the world or whatever. Or maybe it's another skill that you want to, learn. I don't know, like other things you want to, explore in the future, like that are completely non-art related, by the way. Are there anything?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of rock climbing. I'm living in the Haute-Savoie in France. It's a really mountain region. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I spend my weekend just climbing. I really loved it. So yeah, my big goal is to just spend my summer climbing the mountain and spending my time with friends and just to go away from the computer from time to time is a good thing.
And all right, I think we've reached the final question and section of the podcast, which is called Time Capsule. Of course, I think the title is self-explanatory, but basically, let me say it this way. If you had only a couple minutes, like to say anything that you want to anyone who might listen to this recording at any point of time in the future, what would you say from one human to another human being? And that another human being is anyone who might listen to it. You're talking to as a human to another human being, not as an artist to another artist. So we really don't need art tips necessarily. Of course, you can get that if you want. But imagine if like 2-3 minutes of whatever that could come out of you.
Yeah, okay.
And that kind of will be your legacy, in a sense. Okay. So no pressure, definitely no pressure.
Yeah, that's deep. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I guess my advice, what I would just tell is that it's never too late to do what you want to do. And when I was 20, becoming a game dev wasn't even an option. And I was thinking it's not possible. 12 years later, I know that I can do it. I know that I just have to put the time and the effort. So yeah, my advice would just be to listen to nobody, just do what you want to do, and with patience. And maybe sometimes, someday, all the work will pay off. But because you have the passion and the desire and the love for your craft or for what you do, not because you want to get something from it, I guess. Yeah.
All right, that's actually a pretty beautiful message, honestly. Like, I kind of resonate with it as well because I kind of started late, in a sense. And what I can also get from what you said is basically do something find, but a prerequisite to what you said is also being able to find that thing that you truly love to do. It's fun for you. And I think a good litmus test for that is, would you still do it if you still fail? By failed, I mean, we have to define failure and success as well in this context. Like, if we say getting into the industry and getting a well-paying job in the game industry is success, would you still, for example, continue making environments even if you don't reach that height or mountain? That's a good question you need to ask yourself. Or not just, you or me, I mean, all of us. Like, not about environments. I mean, just anything. Like, if anyone is into game development, would they still do it if they knew they wouldn't, for example, make a hit $1 million, game?
Yeah. Well,
You have to do things for the love of it, because it's kind of fun. Get a dopamine out of it.
and
You know?
I without love, you can achieve it. In our domain, I think
Exactly.
just too much work. You can't do it if you don't love it. You will.
Yeah, exactly. It's a hard job. Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
Also, the gaming industry is not for the money. We will not be rich. We will live comfortably, but we will not be rich and making games. It is purely for love.
True. And all right.
Will,
I guess
you,
that's
will
about it.
you will you continue to make environment without
Sure.
the industry?
Yeah, definitely. No, I will continue to make art that I like, even if it could be environments, games. Yeah, that's like a hobby of mine. Like, it's not like I'm gonna stop it because I don't get a job at it. I mean, of course, it would be nice to get a job at it, definitely. But it's just like a form of expression for me.
Yeah, I
And the
get it.
one thing I want to do before I die is to just express myself well enough. So when that time comes, I'm like, all right, I did well in this save file. Let's see what the next is about.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, man, that's about it. All right, that gotta be the existential. Sorry for everyone if I put you in the existential crisis, but yeah, let's move on. All right, so where can people contact you if they had any questions?
Well, ArtStation right now, because that's the only way. But I will add my contact on ArtStation and my LinkedIn also if they have any questions. I like sometimes people just ask me on ArtStation how I do things, and I love to send them videos, a breakdown, anything, because I also ask a lot of questions to artists I just saw on ArtStation. So yeah, just send me a request. Send questions. I will answer. I will try.
All right, awesome. Yeah. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, and that's about it. Thank you so much for coming by for this episode, and thank you anyone who tuned in and listened to this episode as well. Be prepared for a lot of juicy content from the YouTube channel as well. Definitely go. Oh, I hate this cringy thing YouTubers do in the end or at the beginning of the videos. Hit the like, subscribe, and comment button. No. But just subscribe. Like, that helps. Like, even if you don't want to watch anything, just it helps a little bit by one number. So And yeah, that's about it. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Till next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.